Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I'd like to welcome you back to another fragrance video. Today, I just want to talk about something that's off the cuff, something I just thought about and I just kind of experienced again, and I just want to talk about it. Context within the realm of fragrance via direct comparisons. And like, we're talking about when you smell a fragrance and then you directly smell another one, preferably at the same time, where you can do a direct one-on-one or one-on-one-on-one comparison. In this case, I just got in Tom Ford Tuscan Leather from the private blend. The bottle's down here, but it's great, phenomenal, right? I heard a lot of stuff about it. Of course, that 2007 Tom Ford private blend lineup is legendary, right? It's got tobacco vanille, which I love. It has, again, Tuscan leather, oud wood, plum japonais, and an assortment of others. A lot of stuff discontinued, amber absolute, stuff like that. But Tom Ford Tuscan leather, okay? This fragrance, years ago, I never would have gone near it because I wasn't a leather guy. Initially, my type in the fragrance world is vanillic, ambery, gourmand, generally, or just something a warm, spicy amber. That's typically the way I like it. Not too many sharp edges or citric notes, whatever. Over the years, I have experienced a few, I'd say a plethora of leather fragrances, but I bought a few leather fragrances on the way. Dior Homme Parfum was one of my first ones. Depending on how you feel about Santal Royale being a leather fragrance. Everything Terry Wasser does for the men's side pretty much has leather in it though. And then Ombré leather, which we're going to talk about. Cure d'Ange. I don't have a bottle of Cure d'Ange, but it helped me establish kind of what a leather accord can be in the fragrance world. The context of the leather that it can mentally illustrate and evoke via the scent. Cure d'Ange, again, it's a very light leather of the Angels by Hermes. I guess designed to smell like the top grade of leathers that they use for the Hermes Birkin, the Constance bag, and the Kelly and whatnot. So many others, right? More masculine leathers. Tom Ford Ombré leather. I remember when I first smelled it. I smelled it it was years ago in a Marshall's, and I thought, I was like, yo, like this is like extreme, like dark black pebbly leather. Like how the bottle, like on the front of the bottle, you can see where it has this kind of black pebbled leather. I have a backpack that's black pebbled leather, and that's exactly what this kind of smells like, just like the inside of the bag. Very nice processed leather of a high-end good. Some people say new car interior. I can see that in car seats, etc. Nice pair of shoes. It's definitely like that. Now, I know it had jasmine in it, and I know it primarily had jasmine in it. Really working with the leather primarily. And so I know it has a little bit of a floral heart, but for the most part, man, you're getting a really black, nice leather, right? That this matte black bottle would kind of illustrate, that this matte black bottle would indicate. Now, Tuscan leather, I did a lot of research. I'm at the stage in the fragrance game where I can blind buy stuff based off of preference, based off of just knowing my research, knowing what I like, knowing certain perfumers' work, trusting certain reviewers, certain other members in the fragrance community, and their opinions that I agree with, just, and whatnot. Just, people's tastes, yours, and if it lines up. So if somebody gives a cosign, like, okay, I can jump in on a $300 bottle, $400 bottle of fragrance, whatever. Jumped out the window, got Tuscan leather, okay? Primarily because I love that raspberry leather accord that I first, experienced with Ombré Nomad. But I was wondering, like, how it can kind of get smokier than Ombré leather. Because ombre leather is just, it's heavy, especially we're talking about the EDP. It's heavy, it's, has some violet leaf in there, but It really doesn't have a lot of, it really just has no top notes like that. It really just kind of comes out of the bottle like you're spraying a leather jacket or something. It's really impeccable work and art by Sonia Constant. Now Tuscan leather, which is on this card, man, it somehow, some way, it recontextualizes, and that's the whole point of this video. Like, it recontextualizes, or rather contextualizes properly, ombre leather for me. I thought this was like as smoky and as like black and birch tarry as leather can get, masculine as leather accord can get in perfumery. You know, it's not that like light beige accord that like in Kir Beluga with the suede and by Guerlain, or it's not like the like I said, the Cure d'Ange by Jean-Claude Elena, Hermes. I thought this was the pinnacle of black leather, biker, motorcycle vibes, maybe a little bit of ashtray, you know, smoke on the jacket type thing. No, ombre leather does it. It really goes that next level. There's a basement. I heard somebody say this in a different video that had nothing to do with fragrance. They said that there's a basement to rock bottom. And in this, I guess in this way, like, and it was a completely different context for that, but yes, like somehow there's a basement in an underground bunker. Like, it's incredible. Like the depth that Tuscan leather can reach. I mean, it smells like I said it before about Frederic Maule's The Moon, which is on this card. And I was saying how that fragrance smells like it's almost on fire eventually. It really kind of, and I've had these cards kind of cooking for a bit. It kind of recontextualizes this one. Like, the Fruit Accord in The Moon by Frederic Maule is so strong, and it has leather and again, a real Indian oud in the base. Kind of like a blue cheesy, almost animalic oud that starts off top, but it's so well balanced because of that rose, that Turkish rose in the heart, and the raspberry accord in the lychee accord, that you really can't. It's not going to get as deep as Tuscan. Tuscan has a little bit of raspberry fruitiness to it, some jasmine as well, some saffron, just like The Moon does, but it really, really, really bottoms out, rock bottom. Like it just drops, and it's incredible. It's incredible, and then when I pick this back up, ombre leather, it smells way sweeter, way sweeter, way sweeter, and that's what I've heard people. You know, I do research on Fragrantica, Parfumo.com. Just YouTube videos, people comparing ombre leather versus Tuscan leather. I guess in a way this kind of is that. You hear about that, like it's sweeter than this. Yes, it is, despite this having like the raspberry pairing by Jacques Cavalier. It still manages to just get as smoky as one could ever imagine. I've smelled Cuir de Russie as well. That's another great leather fragrance I can't wait to purchase. I do not own, but I've gone through 2 samples of it. I love Cuir de Russie, love it. The EDP we're talking about, the L'Exclusive line for Chanel. Man, you know, and this is the brilliance. This is the great. This is why this hobby is so A, addicting, B, enjoyable, because you get to experience, your nose grows, your mind is blown. It is amazing. It's amazing experiencing these works of art done by these perfumers and of course mass produced by these houses. Man, Tom Ford, of course, him being the main creative director at his house when he was there, especially in the early days of 2007, things were really kicking off. Oh, he really had a big say in how this formula came out in the original private blend line. You know, he helped guide for Tobacco Vanille again, which I think is stellar. I wish I experienced some of the private blend earlier in my journey, but I should have experienced it more. For that reason, like this fall, I'll definitely be redoing my fall video, I'm sure, because Tobacco Vanille needs to be in there. That's why I didn't do a winter, because I knew I needed to add some more before I could do it. But that's just my thoughts on context within fragrances, and let this kind of stand for the importance of testing, the importance of smelling. Just putting your nose on stuff is so crucial. Being able to know what you're talking about, like when you're doing reviews. And that's the thing I like about Fragrantica. It's the cool thing about it is that you can see people's collection. And so like when somebody says, I'm gonna give you an example. When somebody says, oh, this is the best vanilla I've ever smelled, immediately I click on their profile and I want to see their collection. I at least want to see what they want. I at least want to see what they had. I want to see what they have, because it gives me an insight into what that means when that can mean anything. When somebody says this is the best vanilla I've ever smelled, well, have you smelled Guerlain's Spiritueuse Double Vanille? Have you smelled Guerlain's Angelique Noir? Have you smelled Guerlain's Vanille Planifolia Extra? Have you smelled Indol Hota? You see? Have you smelled Tom Ford's Vanille Fatale? It's like, it's the context of that matters. That's why, like, again, either putting your nose on stuff directly or listening to people. And this has nothing to do with whether you should listen to me or not. I'm just saying, because there are people on YouTube who have way better collections, way more experienced noses than I do, etc. And they've just been in the game way long, since I was in elementary school, before I was born, some of these people. So it's really incredible. The importance of listening to people who have a lot of experience and have a lot of proper context. I think this also just speaks to life in general. The great thing about living, the great thing about this experience on Earth is that we get to experience new things. You grow, you learn, you discover. That is what life really is all about. In the creative, artistic fields like fashion, art, fragrance, which again is under the art. It's really great, man, and that brings me joy. Discovering new stuff, something as simple as a fragrance, man, it can just really make my day. Just making a new discovery. Yeah, it's really, 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 really fun. My roommate and I, we smell fragrances all the time. I'm getting him into the high-end niche designer realm. Even though he's been in the fragrance for his entire life, way longer than I've been, but at the designer level, and he just got Le Lion. And I was telling him that, to smell Shalimar, the EDP, modern formulation, and, again, to provide context, because I was trying to explain, the greatness of Le Lion and how impactful and long-lasting and bold and just unashamed that lemon bergamot citrus duo is in that composition, versus just it being a presence but like balanced piece and component of Shalimar. And so just us smelling those two and just discussing it, that's so much fun. And I guess it's fragrance nerd stuff, but I love it. It really is great, man. For those of you who aren't into fragrances like that, I implore you to start. Just go to your local department store, Dillard's, Macy's. There's so much to discover. Always new releases. So get to smelling. So that's all I want to say. Thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you next time. Lots of stuff coming down the pipeline, fragrance-wise, fashion-wise for sure. Shows are coming out. So yeah, stay tuned. Now music, I'm still working on some new records and getting some more releases done. So yeah, it's gonna be a great year. I hope this it'll be just as fruitful for you guys as well. All right. I hope to see you next time. But until then, have a great